All right, we're glad to have you back. Millions of subscribers would soon start to experience service disruptions if the disconnection move approved by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, is implemented.
Yeah, last week, the NCC granted disconnection approval to mobile network operators to disconnect owing colleagues over rising interconnect debts and failure of the affected operators to pay. Now, an IT expert, Obani Akinwale, joins us now in the studio to talk about this. Now, Nii, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Make us understand, when it comes to this disconnection, what are the implications? Because it seems a technical aspect of the society where everyone is involved somehow because you have a phone and all of that, but you don't know how it works.
Yeah, what you have is that you have major players in the telecom industries, the major GSM operators. You have a couple of guys into data services. You have the GSM operator now doing both data and voice services, as it may be. But they all use different mediums in sending their signals to the end users. There are two bodies, one called IHS, the other called ATC. They are the one that owns the facility that most of these telecos uses, except for MTN and Airtel in some cases. But most of other telecos, 9Mobile or what have you, use these companies, towers, power solution and what have you. So it's on rental basis. Now, what they're expected to do when you are hiring my mast, my point of presence, my server room, my power solution is to pay charges. And over the time, NCC has been coming out to say, these companies have been complaining that the debt profile is growing. That at the moment, it's about 180 billion that they are owing between IHS and ATC. That's the part. The other part is for me to route my call or to connect my call between a Glow and possibly an Etisalat or 9Mobile, as case may be, I need an interconnectivity. So there is...
And there are charges?
There are charges for all those. So you're expected, for example, MTN, if you provide facility, that, okay, for you to route your call from, let's say, Smile to maybe to Airtel, you need to use a channel. And MTN provide those services, Airtel provide those services, but other service provider, instead of them starting their own stuffs, the issue of co-location and sharing of facility comes in. And what we have seen over time is that most of these operators are not paying those charges.
And there's a debt crisis now on our hands. NCC has actually said that in examining the applications and circumstances surrounding these debts, that there is no grounds for, there's no basis for those debts in the first place. So what are we to make of this?
Yeah, because
is it that these companies that have been provided these platforms just decide not to pay that, what they're owing?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I told a friend of mine that most of organizations in Nigeria are living on borrowed funds. And if we ask ourselves sincerely that 4 or 5 years ago, what are the turnovers of banks, of telecos? Where are those monies now? So we're just living on vague foundation. So this, according to the NCC Act of 2003, I think Section 100 or Section 103 talks about how licenses are granted, how disconnections can be granted as well. So it stated there, I provide this service, you pay for this. I provide this interconnectivity, you pay for this. So what happens to callers? What it means is that if Smile, Intel, or what have you is disconnected by AHS, their service is granted. But what in case of MTN, Airtel, with other telecos is that I'm providing you to be able to route your call to other networks.
All right, but
you are not paying
that
me.
Disconnection, does it amount to the revocation of their license?
No.
Okay.
But can they still operate after that disconnection?
They are still operating. What it means is that if you are a Smile operator now, once you are disconnected by MTN from their interconnectivity, it means is that you can only receive call from MTN. You cannot call MTN.
Oh.
Okay. So it means that if MTN and Airtel go ahead to disconnect people, Glow is also affected as well. So what it means is that if, as a Glow subscriber, calling a Glow subscriber is with ease. But now when you're going to call an MTN operator or an Airtel operator, you can't call them, but you can receive call from them.
But haven't customers have been experiencing these things already? I mean, long before now. Is this what has been playing out with the drop calls and what have you?
Not really. Unfortunately, the industry is capital intensive and our power solution is not really helping.
So what time frame do they have? We understand about 10 days have been given.
No,
or 21 days.
they were given it's 21 days. So we're expecting that by December 28th, they will act. But if they fail to act, based on the law, the regulators are authorized to disconnect their service.
And the customer would be at the receiving end of
customer will still be receiving calls, but they cannot call.
They cannot make calls.
But it's likely we're going to see a lot of porting from some networks to others.
Definitely.
Obani Akinwale, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you.